Alrighty guys, so some actually pretty crazy news for Fandom Parade. We're getting some April 2025 balance adjustments, okay? So everyone you see on screen right now are gonna get some kind of buff, which is pretty damn crazy considering like this was like post Annie for JP and we're getting it about a month early. It would be, you know, like 7 months early, but obviously it's sped up and it's probably next month. So we're looking at a bit early buffs, you know, like the YUTA, for example, would have come out a little after Annie. That was like the rerun with Miguel where YUTA got buffed and all that kind of stuff. But there are some fire like upgrades in here. Obviously, if I stood here and went over every single one, it would take like an hour, and I'm sure you guys don't want to hear anyone yap for a whole hour. So I've picked out some of the best ones that are getting buffed. I might have missed some. If I did, I apologize in advance, but I'm gonna need you guys to please black flash the like button for content, and let's go. Okay, so first we have obviously my boy YUTA, and you guys all probably know from, if you guys watched my probably January tier list, I put the upgrade YUTA, you know, out. Obviously he's still in top tier for me, but the, you know, the buff just made him better. So what are his differences? Let's see over here. This is just a auto skill now, which I don't know what difference that would make, but anyway, so the post adjustment is just more damage and it increases the skill's crit rate, right? So you have a higher chance to crit and does slightly more damage, almost 100% more, 90% more, which is not too bad in my opinion. So obviously we take free buffs like that, no one's complaining about that. And then skill 2 we've got from just AoE damage and decreasing crit resistance to, as you can see, a whole lot more, okay? So we have AoE damage, we have increases damage received for Jujutsu skills, and also when you have like, you know, high curse energy, it will do more debuffs. And also here you can insta kill, and the crit rate thing seems to be gone, I think. Crit resistance, yeah, okay, it's gone. Okay, low key, that's kind of useless anyway. I'm not really too mad about that. Like, crit resistance isn't really a good debuff like that much anyway. I'm okay with that. But as for skill 3, we have just more damage, it looks like. Yeah, more damage, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, we take those, right? Just, you know, tweaks anywhere. And as for the ult, I wouldn't imagine there's too much done to the ult. Yeah, unchanged. So apart from that, also with the auto skills, you know, with YUTA, all his heal stuff and his counter he has, and he's just an awesome unit, right? They're pretty much unchanged, but he gets a zone outburst where he will get increased own Jujutsu stat by 20% for 3 turns when he black flashes. So obviously they're going with that whole zone gimmick now. That might be introduced with the new black flash usually for Annie, I'm not entirely sure, but either way, it does boost him up. And if you guys look at the tier list, not my one, but the wiki one, he's still in there with the greats, right? Obviously Sukuna is the like sole exception, but Yuta's still there. So apart from him, we also have my boy GETO, who goes from like a mid unit, like a slightly above average unit, to low key like a top 3 support or like damage dealer. This guy's actually really good, and we're getting him early on global before the Annie units drop. We're gonna get some crazy numbers with this guy, especially because, you know, the blue team hasn't got Sukuna yet and all that. So this will definitely help until, you know, that gap is obviously filled, because Sukuna is just that crazy. But over here, you know, unchanged. And then for here, we have, as you can see, a lot more is done. So over here was just base damage. And then, you know, he has this gimmick where that he has high curse energy. The more, you know, damage and buffs and whatnot he'll do, right? But as you can see here, it does way more, because now it increases his crit rate for 1 time. And then if he's got really high curse energy, it'll go to like 60 max. And then here as well, you'll get just the normal damage, and then it'll increase the damage up to 60%. And over here as well, you'll get the increased own Jujutsu stat by 15% for 3 turns if own curse energy is 60 or above. So overall, you're doing a little bit more damage. You're doing, oh no, it's a bit less damage, but you get more buffs, and then you'll get greater damage if you've got max curse energy. All right, at 660 is the max for this one. So overall, we take those free debuffs and all that, free buffs, not too bad. So as for skill 2, over here, just, you know, the damage, and then it will just do more debuffs depending on how high his curse energy is. Over here, as you can see, a lot more now. It does way more damage, and then it will decrease that stat by 20%, and then it will just go up to 35 at max curse energy, and then same thing here, but it'll go to 50 at max curse energy 60. Okay, so it's just doing more debuffs if you have high curse energy, which is pretty good in my opinion. Like, just you spam these debuffs, they're gonna make a huge difference, especially for his ult, or if like you're doing a blue Gojo slot 4 nuke or something, it's gonna help you do more damage. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be using this. And over here, as you can see, there's a lot more as well. So over here was just AoE damage, and then just more damage based on the higher curse energy. Over here, as you can see, it's much more, increases the own damage, and it goes up to 100, which is crazy. And it does AoE damage here as well, 200%, so it does a bit more than this one. And then also damage received by 10%, it goes up to 30. Okay, so as you can see, every skill pretty much is either helping him do more damage or helping the enemies take more damage, right? So you can't really complain. He's just crazy, right? And as for his ult, over here, which is range damage to all enemies, and it would recover or reduce own curse energy to 0 when ult is performed. Over here, as you can see, it does way more now, so it increases his own damage, max up to 200. Okay, so that just shows how much damage you can do extra. You stack up his curse energy, you're hitting crazy numbers with this guy, and you're also getting, you know, obviously the AoE damage, which is way more. Wow. Okay, that's all right. And then also, is that right? Damn. Okay, that's flat, bro. 7 to 18 flat, bro. This guy's crazy. Okay, so then you also have reduces curse energy by 60 when ult skill is performed. So it's a reset, right? But that doesn't really matter because it's just that crazy damage anyway. It's always unchanged, right? So this guy, everyone's, you know, everyone's gassing him up in the comment section right now. You should definitely pull for him. Low key, bro. When he comes back, I'm gonna be going for my boy. I won't lie. He just seems too strong. If you pulled GETO, W for you. Comment down below if you pulled GETO when he came out, because oh man, he's crazy on the buffs. Like, I think he was almost top tier support. Yeah, okay, if Domain Gojo didn't exist, which, or Road to Annie, boys, stay tuned. Road to Annie. I'm gonna make a series, alright? Road to Annie, where probably like every few days before Annie comes out, just videos about Annie, like, you know, how to save your cubes. I'll throw some psychology in there because we need it, bro. Because otherwise, this game, it's not good for your mental health if you don't know how to, like, you know, control yourself and all that. So, stay tuned, smash the like button, and hit that notification bell so you just know when it drops. Because trust me, you do not want to miss Road to Annie. It's going to be a game changer in the Phantom Parade industry, alright? So, apart from GETO, we also have my boy Yuji, alright? Which, he's not top tier on JP anymore. When he came out with his buffs, he was pretty damn good. But obviously, like, there's better green options out there, as there always is, right? He's just basic pull. They're not going to make this guy the best, right? Just how gotchas work, I guess. But one thing, don't get it mixed up. This isn't the SP hidden potential stuff, right? So if you go down here, you'll see this, right? And it gives, if you guys want to look on the tier list real quick, it gives, like, these guys, like, the gold borders. This is not the gold border stuff, right? This is just a tweak, right, for their kit. It is not the gold border, don't get mixed up. As you can see, they've got Yuji, like, down here. Yeah, like there. He's at their level, which is kind of sad, to be honest, but is what it is, right? Yeah, so, man. Anyway, okay, so, don't get it mixed up. It's different, right? But he changes quite a bit. So, over here, just that moves to his auto skill. I don't know what difference that makes. Maybe, like, some things cancel out characteristics. I'm not too sure. But straight away here, you see a bit more damage, and then he can Black Flash. I thought he could always Black Flash on this, but maybe it's just a higher chance. I don't know, but for his skill 2, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that was unchanged, yeah. Skill 3 does just damage and crit resistance, and over here, as you can see, it does more damage, does crit resistance, and then just a higher Black Flash chance. And then, oh man, when this drops, okay, that's way more, bro. Okay, is that going to be for skill 3? Yeah, okay. So keep in mind, this is not in the game yet, but this hidden potential stuff like Dokkan, or like just like the extra buff they get. I don't know if they can tweak it further than this. Maybe the unit's dead after. I'm not sure. I hope they like continue to you know, buff after this stuff drops, because I feel like Phantom Parade is a game where everyone's kind of decent, and like, I don't want them to kill units by, like, you know, locking them after the SP skill comes out. But anyway, for his ult, it, as you can see, just a higher Black Flash chance. Overall, it's not too much more crazy things going on for Yuji. It's just pretty much higher Black Flash chance and slightly higher damage. As you can see, it's 898 to 1200, so it's pretty decent. And then it's guaranteed Black Flash first hit, which is unchanged. And then it'll also increase the first Black Flash's hit damage, and then also help crit increase for attack 2 and 3. So as you can see, it does a little bit more now. And here as well, he gets a zone outburst. Not this zone outburst, it's going to be a buff on the added zone outburst, right? So not this one, just this one. It's going to be just increase Black Flash rate by 100% when he performs one, so he'll get a guaranteed one every now and then. Also get an increased Taijutsu stat, which is not too bad, and recovers curse energy, right? So overall, like I feel like in Tower, those green levels can be kind of like difficult, especially because like Holo Purple Gojo leaves, and if you don't have a perfect setup, you can't really one-shot it. So that will help with that. You know, that bit more damage will help a little bit. But last but not least, we have my boy Nanami. Obviously, there's way more and I can go through, but I'm not going through all of them. So, I'm sure when that comes out, you know, I'm sure they'll post all the details. Let's go on the wiki. No one's really a standout besides, you know, you really only YUTA and GETO, but you've got Yuji as well, who's decent. Make Me gets better. Obviously, the Marquis as well. I think Toto stays pretty bad. Panda, I think, stays mid as well. But yeah, so we have the Nami last but not least, and also he has the SP skill too. But don't, you know, get it mixed up. It's not the SP skill. It's just a tweak, right? The SP skills come later, probably a bit after Andy will get them. But anyway, right? So over here, just that little turn 9 buff he gets put to auto. Okay, so looks like they've done 2 waves of adjustments. I'll be real, I don't know if it's gonna be, you know, another batch or the first batch. If we're assuming, I think it's alright either way. Like, at his max adjustment, it's gonna be just more damage, right? I think it might be this one though. I'm not entirely sure, but let's assume it's this one. So for this one, obviously, unchanged there and then unchanged. So that buff's pretty good anyway, right? So we're gonna have just damage there. Over here, just increase damage dealt on a crit or Black Flash, and here further, right? I want to guess it. Okay, it's probably this one. I want to guess. But yeah, so far all it is just more damage on this one when Black Flash or crit is done. And as for his ult, just more damage when a crit hit is performed, and then same thing here, increases damage further, does a bit more damage, right? So nothing too crazy for the Nami, I won't lie. But as for his auto skill, everything's unchanged, right? So he's pretty much the same, I won't lie, the Nami, but he still gets better, obviously, you know, because he's a Black Flash merchant, right? So the more you Black Flash with him, he's gonna be dealing way more damage, and also on the second thing, he's gonna get a buff on his Jujutsu stat. The ult skill is unchanged, I think, and also he gets a zone also, which when he Black Flashes, he'll increase his own rate by 200%, and restore his curse energy by 5, and over here as well, just more buffs. So overall, not bad for my boy, right? But obviously, I wouldn't put him in the first 3. Probably the first 2 probably smoke him. But that is the, you know, the balance update. If you guys enjoy, be sure to backslash like some more content, and be wary. Andy's right around the corner. Road to Andy coming soon. See you guys later. Peace.